Welcome back to the Deep Dive.
Yeah.
So summer's here, and I know a lot of us are probably dreaming about getting away somewhere warm.
Definitely. Sun, sand, maybe some family time.
Exactly. And today, we're actually diving into one listener's really detailed plan, well, more like a vision for just that, a family beach vacation in Southeast Asia.
Right. And our mission today really is to kind of unpack these very specific preferences. We want to see how they turn into real actionable ideas, not just for, this listener's trip, but maybe for your own planning too. It's about helping you figure out those things that really make a trip memorable for you.
Yeah, spotting those core desires. And we're working from this great set of notes someone sent in titled Southeast Asia Family Beach Vacation Planning. It's basically a personal wish list, gives us a lot to work with.
It really does. And what's valuable here, I think, is seeing how looking closely at these very specific wishes, someone else's wishes, can actually help you clarify your own. Define what you really want, whether it's a big trip or, I don't know, even just planning your weekend. Understanding what truly matters makes the whole thing smoother, much more tailored.
Okay, so let's dive into these notes then. One of the first things that really jumps out is how important the kids' enjoyment is this summer. The notes say the kids are huge fans of swimming, like massive fans.
Yeah.
So constant water access seems to be, completely non-negotiable.
And that's interesting, isn't it? How that one core desire, just water activities, immediately starts shaping everything else. It's not just a nice to have, it's what we probably call a foundational non-negotiable. Everything else, like the location, the type of place you stay, it all has to serve that primary need.
Okay, foundational non-negotiables. I like that.
It makes you think, doesn't it? How can you, listening now, identify your foundational non-negotiables before you even start researching your trip? What's the absolute must-have?
That's a really critical thing to figure out early on. And it's interesting how that naturally leads to the next point in the notes, the accommodation choice. They want a resort right by the beach. And that's not just about, having a nice view, is it?
No, I don't think so. It's more about that seamless access, right? Being able to just wander down to the sand whenever.
Yeah.
Look, a resort directly on the beach, it often costs more, that's true. But for this family, it seems like the benefit, that immediate access to the sea, the sand, outweighs the cost.
Convenience.
It's the convenience, yeah. Spontaneous swims, kids playing right there. It connects you directly to the environment you came for. Might even save hassle with transport, lets things be more relaxed, less structured.
So it forces you to prioritize. What are you willing to spend a bit more on for that ultimate ease?
Exactly. What's the trade-off you're willing to make?
And it's clearly not just about the kids running wild. I love the picture the notes paint for the adults, too. It mentions relaxing in the evening with a cold beer in hand, sitting next to my husband and watching a stunning sunset.
Ah, that sounds pretty good.
Doesn't it? That really sounds like the perfect way to just unwind. Recharge is about finding that balance, I guess.
For sure. And if you connect that to the bigger planning picture, it really shows how emotional desires, or maybe atmospheric ones, are just as vital as the practical stuff.
Right.
It's not just about having a bed to sleep in. It's about creating those specific, memorable moments. Those emotional returns on investment, if you like.
Emotional returns on investment, okay.
And speaking of practical things that have a big impact, there's another very specific request here. The resort must have a swimming pool with a fun slide for the kids.
Yes. The fun slide. I found that fascinating. It's such a specific little detail. Does that kind of suggest that maybe the small things are actually, way more important than we sometimes think when planning something really memorable?
Oh, absolutely. I think so. That fun slide, it isn't just about a piece of plastic. It represents what you could call a micro-deliverable.
Micro-deliverable?
Yeah, like a small, specific feature that has a disproportionately huge impact on how happy people are, especially kids in this case. It's the kind of thing that can take a trip from just good to, amazing. Remember that slide?
Yeah, I could see that.
So it makes you wonder, what are your trip's potential micro-deliverables? The little things that could make a big difference that maybe you're overlooking in your own planning.
That's a great way to think about it. And it's not just the activities and the views either. The notes also specifically mention hoping the food will be flavorful and high quality.
Yeah.
So good food experiences are definitely high on the list, not just an afterthought.
You're right. That's a key one. Food often gets sort of push down the list in the early planning stages, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But it's so vital for a really satisfying trip overall. For this listener, it seems it's not just about having meals available, it's about experiencing local tastes, but importantly, with high standards. That sets a clear quality bar.
A non-negotiable for quality.
Exactly. Now, for your trip, maybe the food priority is different. Maybe it's about having lots of kid-friendly options or specific dietary needs or even just the fun of trying street food. What's your food standard for a truly great vacation?
Good question. And then there's this other preference, which I thought was really interesting and very personal. The notes say, and honestly, I'd prefer a place that's not too crowded with other Korean tourists. It would be nice to feel like we're truly somewhere new.
Ah, okay.
That feels like quite a powerful desire, doesn't it?
Yeah.
For something like cultural immersion, or maybe just a sense of genuine discovery.
It really is. That moves beyond the usual checklist items, pool, beach, food, into something deeply personal. We could call it an authenticity drive.
Authenticity driving.
Yeah, it means actively choosing not to go somewhere that might feel too familiar, too much like home, even if those places are popular for very good reasons.
Right. But that must make the planning harder.
Well, yeah, from a planning perspective, it definitely raises a question. How do you actually find that truly new experience? How do you vet places to avoid areas that might feel, well, overly familiar, especially if they are popular with certain groups? It probably means doing deeper research, looking beyond the main travel blogs or guides, maybe seeking out less common destinations, or even traveling at slightly different times of the year takes more effort.
That really underlines how deep these personal preferences go when you're trying to craft that perfect getaway. It makes you think beyond the obvious choices.
It really does. It forces you to move beyond just what's easy or available towards what truly resonates with your specific idea of a great trip, whether that's relaxation or adventure or something else. This is where, generic travel packages sometimes fall short, and this kind of personalized deep dive into what you want really starts.
So just to quickly recap the key things from these notes that really shaped this particular dream vacation plan.
Yeah.
There was a big focus on water activities for the kids swimming, definitely, and that really important fun pool slide.
Can't forget the slide.
No.
Yeah.
And the desire for a resort right on the beach was central. That links to those relaxing evenings, watching the sunset, with a loved one. High-quality, flavorful food was a clear must-have.
Yep.
And then, crucially, that very distinct preference for feeling like there's somewhere genuinely new, which meant actively wanting to avoid places potentially crowded with fellow Korean tourists.
And I think what this deep dive really shows us is how all these individual preferences, some practical, like the slide, others more emotional, like the atmosphere or that need for discovery, they're absolutely crucial. They're what transform a standard trip into something truly memorable and personal. Breaking down these wishes, like we did today, no matter how specific they seem, can actually make the whole planning process feel clearer, maybe more exciting, and definitely more focused on what you truly want.
Yeah, makes it feel achievable. And that brings us perfectly to the question that our listeners' notes actually ended with. It's a great thought for all of us, really. What kind of vacation are you planning this year, and what are the non-negotiable elements that would make it your perfect escape?